Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. Back to Krista Burgh again while we're doing all these live albums. This particular live album, if you're one of my regular viewers, you've heard me talk about how my family and Krista Burgh intertwined, my whole family, multiple generations, etc., etc., etc. Introduced Tracy to Krista Burgh. Tracy really got into it. This particular album, Krista Burgh, High On Emotion, live from Dublin. This album has so many amazing, fond, rich memories for me. And they're all associated with my dad, my sister, myself, and they're now my former step siblings and my stepmom. My dad when they were together in the 90s. When we used to go camping all the time, this was an album that was always, always, always in the rotation when we were camping, always. And it is one of these days one of those albums to this day, if I want to go back to, camping at a lower gorge, or, if I find myself driving down the 401 in the future, if you're one of my regular viewers, you might know that I've never had a license before. I've got a beginner's now. But anyways, on the point. If I find myself driving down the 401, I'll probably put this album on just for the fond, warm, fuzzy memories that come with it. The track list, a lot of the songs on here I honestly didn't know prior to getting this album. And actually a lot of them on here, I still to this day only know them as the live versions on here. I've never picked up the other albums yet. Krista Burgh, as much as I love Krista Burgh, he's one of those artists that, when I was with my ex-wife, no disrespect, she didn't dislike Krista Burgh, she just wasn't into Krista Burgh. My kids weren't really all that much into Krista Burgh either. So Krista Burgh is one of those artists that kind of took a back burner in my album collecting for a long time. And then when I got together with Tracy, Tracy's a completionist. So when she gets into someone, she wants the whole collection, which is great, works for me. Anyways, back to this album. So when it comes to this album, some of the songs I do know, some of the songs I don't know. Let's go into this. So we got Last Night. Great way to open up this album. Right energy, right passion, right off the bat. Perfect, gets it flowing, feels great. That goes into Sailing Away, another song I think is a really good song to have on here. Now, is a song that I particularly am overly fond of? Not necessarily, but on here I really enjoy it. The Revolution, I only know it on here for the most part, and I think it's fantastic. I'm Not Scared Anymore is great to follow up after The Revolution. Then that goes into Spanish Train. I love Spanish Train. The live rendition is fantastic as well. You definitely can hear that storytelling in it. It's really cool. It's one of the things that make this such a great camping album, is really heavy on the storytelling and the ambiance and stuff like that. Borderline, another really good tune. But only good on here. I'm not as big of it when it's on an album cut. The Risen Lord, it's not bad, but I could do without it. The Last Time I Cried, it's a decent tune. Lady in Red, okay, I've talked about this one when I've covered the album recently, Into the Light. I'm not, of all of Krista Burgh's songs, Lady in Red is like, I know it's his biggest song, his biggest single and whatnot, but it's the most overplayed one too, and it's the least interesting, honestly. It's one of those, from what I understand from a comment made by somebody on when I did the review for this, was, it was one of those throw together last minute songs, throw it on the album, kind of like, we'll call it a Paranoid. Wow. Amazing how often stuff like that happens in the music industry, right? Spaceman Came Traveling. I love this song. I have sung this song at karaoke. I've done it good sometimes. I've done it really bad sometimes. I love this song, though. It is the one Christmas song I like to sing. Patricia the Stripper. I busted this one out at karaoke one night, man. Oh my God, the way that this one went over when I busted it out at karaoke was absolutely amazing. I didn't expect it to go over the way it did, man. Like, there were people that were actually surprised and excited to hear this. I could hear the stories about back in the day before I was even born when this song would come on, kind of thing. So it was really, really cool. And it's one of those songs that most people don't know. So when you bust it out there, man, and you start performing, it's really kind of fun. Missing You, ballad. All right, whatever. say goodbye to it all. I enjoy this one, especially live. I think it is much better live than it is studio. Don't pay the ferryman. Okay, so this is one of my all-time favorite jokes. In Canada, there is a show called The Trailer Park Boys. Yes, you can find it elsewhere, but it was here first. It started here. It is a Canadian show through and through. So to hear Krista Berg mentioned on The Trailer Park Boys was hilarious. And the best part is, it's a security guard yelling at, the three main core guys, Julian, Bubbles, and Ricky. And he's like, here I am. I'm trying to enjoy the encore of Krista Berg's, don't pay the ferryman, blah, blah, blah. And no, I gotta leave because I gotta come out here and deal with you idiots, blah, 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 blah. First of all, why is Krista Berg playing in the middle of the day? And why would you leave the encore to go deal with car theft when you're at a Krista Berg concert in the middle of the day? That was a weird moment. But I love the joke. And I laughed so hard at that joke because the live rendition is just fantastic, man. One of those songs I would love to do in karaoke, but only if I could get the live rendition because the live rendition's just got a whole separate energy to it. And then the whole thing finishes off with Higher on Emotion, which really is a great way to close out the concert and give you that concert vibe with the closeout. If this is actually the full set list on how this concert was done, this was an amazing concert with an amazing set list with a great flow to it. If you have never picked up a Krista Berg album, this actually is a really cool and interesting place to start. I wouldn't necessarily start here, but if you really want to know, like really get a good flavor of everything Krista Berg, this is a great place to do that. I would always recommend pick up Spanish Train and Other Stories first, but great album. I mean, this is one of my all-time favorite Krista Berg albums. A lot of this has sentimentality to me, which is why I will always consider this one of my all-time favorite albums. But it's not my view on this when I'm recommending it. If you want to get into Krista Berg and see if you like Krista Berg, the reason I recommend this album is because it really gives you a good sense. The only thing I can recommend outside of this would be his Greatest Hits album, which would have come out around the same time. That might have even been when he was touring for this. I don't remember 100%. I'd have to go back and check. Either way, folks, those are my thoughts, my views, opinions. Let me know what you think. Leave me a line down below in the comments. Krista Berg, Higher on Emotion, live in Dublin. Am I overblowing this album? Is this album as good as I'm saying it is? I'm telling you it is. All right. On your way down the comments, you'll see in the description 3 links. Trampoline Wrestling Association. Please check that out. You will see a link for the Howling Odyssey, which is where my music endeavors go, and you'll see a link for Patreon, which is where you can go to subscribe and download all my stuff. Otherwise, if you could please hit the like button, the subscribe button, the bell for notifications. Peace, love, take care.